How did you get to where you are now? And I love that question because it's not just one thing. It's not just a quick and easy answer. My actual transformation has been in the making for about 2 decades, okay? The biggest tip that I can give you, and hopefully it will help, is to stay open to new ways of doing things, okay? That was one of the most important principles that I started to apply in order to break out of the chains of misery, of self-destructive behaviors, of just doing the same thing over and over again, getting the same awful results, right? So once I learned that principle to stay open to a new way of being, accepting help, accepting guidance, admitting that maybe I didn't know everything, right? Admitting that I didn't know everything, asking for help, accepting that help, and then implementing those little strategies, techniques, seeing that it started to work, and then implementing more and more and more. So I'll give you a couple examples of things that I used to do that I no longer do because I learned a better way. Number one, I used to only eat carbs and fat-free things. You would never catch me eating anything that had fat in it. I was fat phobic. If you experienced the 90s, everybody was fat phobic. We would eat an entire box of Snapple cookies because they were fat free. There was this total misunderstanding of what healthy was. And I was fat phobic and I was much heavier because all I was doing was just consuming tons of carbs and sugar. And I didn't know that there was a better way. And I remember distinctly, there was this one moment where I used to drink skim milk, thinking it was super healthy. It has a lot of sugar in it, actually, and I'm a sugar addict. So one day somebody pointed that out to me, and I remember getting so defensive. I was like, what? I know what I'm doing, right? Rolled my eyes, got very, very defensive. And it was because I didn't want to accept that maybe, just maybe, I didn't know, and there was a better way. Finally, that defensiveness kind of wore away, and I became more willing to accept new strategies. That was such a game changer. So this one particular strategy of looking at my macronutrients and reducing the carbohydrates that I was eating and drinking, reducing the sugar that I was consuming, and instead swapping that out with more satiating foods that are high in protein and fat as well, the good fats. Game changer, total game changer. My energy shifted, my waistline shifted, everything shifted, right? But I had to get to the point where I was ready to accept new information. I was ready to accept a new strategy. Because if you do what you've always done, you're gonna get what you always gotten. And if you're happy with the results that you're getting, cool, keep doing it. If you're not, it's time to change. Number two, something else that I did more recently that really shifted for me, that helped me drop a couple more pounds and really get really super lean, feel more clear, more energetic, intermittent fasting. So that's something else that I did that I began to implement. Love it, absolutely love it. And if you haven't tried it yet, I recommend that you at least try it. Consult with your doctor first, but check it out and see if it's something that you can work into your personal routine. You may find the benefits to be so wonderful, especially women over 40. There's so many benefits. There's so many things. So I'm just gonna give you a few big game changers of how I got to where I am now. Is I stopped, this is a big one, because I was a cardio junkie, okay? I was the girl that had no core strength. I couldn't hold a plank, but you'd see me do back-to-back Zumba classes, okay? And I thought, if you're drenched in sweat, then you're working really, really hard, and you're somehow superior to the person who's doing, just core work, right? I didn't understand. I was limited in my understanding of things. And so when I opened myself up to new ways of thinking, which again, that's the theme, right? Is setting aside your old ideas about what you think you know and opening yourself up. That's how change happens. So I opened myself up to the idea that maybe, just maybe, All this cardio was not helping my body. And the proof is in the pictures. I mean, you can go back and see the physique that I was in when I was just doing straight up cardio. No strength training, no core training. My body looks very different. It felt very different. I was chronically injured. Low back stuff. You know, I had stress fractures on my feet because I was abusing my body as opposed to creating a strong, lean, sculpted physique. I didn't prioritize core strength. I didn't prioritize posture. I didn't prioritize recovery. I was just like, let me go like a maniac to the most high intensity cardio class, drench myself in sweat to feel like I'm, working really hard. So those are like the three main things that I did. And the underlying theme in all of that is what? Is I stayed open to new ideas. I didn't close my mind to stepping into something new. I was willing to admit defeat and, just admit that like, my way's not working. Let me try something different, right? It's so important. And I still do that today. I have not arrived. Like, I am an ongoing learner and student of life. I am constantly evaluating what I'm doing to see if it's working, always tweaking. I'm always evaluating, assessing. Do I need more of this? Can I take a little bit of this away? Is this still working? Is this not? How I live my life. And because of that, you'll see in the pictures, consistently getting better results, right? And even if I fall back a little bit, I know how to get back on track because I stay open to new ways of being.